There was a coded secret message in Boku No Hero 99 that most people did not see, that most people glazed over. And I'm here to deliver you guys the truth. Last week, Class A began their surprise room pilgrimage. Alright, it seems like a fun, lighthearted thing to do in Boku No Hero. And then DQ says, is this really okay? And, I mean, I guess there's some minor moral implications, but it's kind of a weird thing to worry about. And this week we will see the stunning conclusion of their journey. And if you ask me, I don't see how seeing someone's room is stunning. So already, for me, this is a red flag. And not only that, but we got the same panel last week. Now, if you get a same panel 2 weeks in a row, there's got to be more to it, right? It's got to be a big deal. But in this chapter and in last chapter too, it was never once a big deal that the people's room. Why is it being phrased as a big deal? Now, I guess it's kind of embarrassing, right? Is it really okay? But there is more to the story than it seems, and it was coded secretly in this chapter near the end. This chapter starts off with Kirishima saying, Bakugo went to sleep because he thought this was fucking stupid, according to Bakugo. And this is more than just Bakugo's character. This is Horikoshi telling us that them looking at their room specifically is not a big deal. It's not important. So there has to be a second layer of meaning. Now, if you guys been following my theory from last week, I said that one of the students is a traitor because the president, at the beginning of that chapter, the president said that the mansion was actually a way to not only protect the students but also to weed out the traitor amongst the school. Now, this is big because I went back and looked at the chapter when the traitor was initially introduced, or that the concept that there was a traitor was introduced, and it's actually not like how most people interpret it. I keep suggesting that Kyoka is the traitor because reading the text, for me, that's what I see. I keep seeing Kyoka come up and these inconsistencies with Kyoka, and so I wonder, is she really the traitor? Is she really it? That would blow my mind. And people say, no, she cannot be the traitor. They don't give me reasons. But one of the reasons is that, one of their supposed reasons is that a student, they don't want any of the students to be a traitor, right? But check this out. I go back and I check the chapter, and this is chapter 83, I believe. President Mike suggests that there's a traitor because of the training ground attack, right? And he says, nobody knew where the lodge was except the teachers here and the pussycats themselves. And that ain't the only thing that smells. For example, a student could have sent out the location pin using their phone. So this is really important because it was never actually confirmed that it was a traitor. The only suggestion that we got that it was a traitor was through President Mike, and it was a conclusion that he came to. So it's not actually confirmed that there's a traitor necessarily. I'm thinking there could be a spy instead of a traitor, but it's framed as a traitor by President Mike, and so readers think that it has to be one of the staff members, because a student wouldn't really be a traitor, right? A student could act as a spy, but because the students aren't really a part of the staff, they can't be a traitor. So a lot of people are thinking it's not a student for that reason, but it was actually suggested by President Mike that it was a traitor, and then he went to go say even farther, it could have been a student that gave out the pin, the location of the training grounds. And that's really important because the way the manga is set up, it means that Horikoshi is giving us a hint, and he's saying, don't rule out the students. You know, here, there's a traitor amongst the 9 staff members who are largely and mostly unimportant, and then the 20 potentially the 20 students who are much more important to the story, and would be much more impactful if there was a spy among them. So from that, I strongly believe one of these students is a spy, and not only that, but I strongly believe that this room tour is giving us some hints at who the spy is. Coupled with the fact that the president in chapter 98, right before we started the room tour, the president actually said that this mansion is a way to weed out the spy. This is Horikoshi's secret message, and there was a message coded in 99 that a lot of people missed, because I think a lot of people jumped on to the train that maybe the student is a spy, right? But a lot of people miss this message. So now Kyoka's character, also known as Jirou, mostly in the story, you guys know her as Earplugs Girl. She didn't want them to see her room, supposedly. Initially, she was shocked that we're going to go see the girls' rooms in chapter 98. And then again, we see that panel Deku in chapter 99. And then she also mentions the Room King. And now when we see her room, she says, "This is really embarrassing, but here goes nothing." Right? Shows them her embarrassing room, and she even facepalms, it looks like. And of course, her room has nothing in it. And so all these Kyoka theories that she's the spy, they're cleaned off, right? But why would someone who is a spy and endangering the lives of her friends, because she's clearly friends with these people, why would she have something out in the open that doesn't make any sense, especially on what seems to be like the first week of their school, right? It doesn't really make any sense. So actually the fact that there is nothing in her room, at least on the outside, that would suggest she's a spy, totally in line with the manga. But check this out. Kaminari goes on to say, "This doesn't feel like a girly room in any sense of the words," and Aoyama, the resident, I guess most feminine guy in the class, is non-ladylike. So this is actually a big blow to Jirou's character, her supposed character design, because she's the character who's very shy. She's embarrassed, and she feels embarrassed about her own supposed lack of femininity. We saw that when she looked at Momo back in the first invasion. You guys remember that? So I guess that's her character. That's what Horikoshi's giving us with her character. We got some character development in that sense, but it goes deeper, because remember how Baku said this is stupid? And now we get Ojiro saying, "I gotta say though, walking around to get a peek at the girls' rooms like this it's no big deal." Kind of gives you the Imura feeling, don't you think? So that's the thing. They're walking and seeing the rooms is not a big deal. And now we see Asu, right after that we see Tsuyu say give the reader the message in this panel that she's also embarrassed. So it seems like there's this framework. Okay, the people really are embarrassed. It actually does matter that they're embarrassed, and that's why Deku was shocked at the beginning, and that's why we saw the double panel. That makes sense, right? But that's not what happens at all. She's not embarrassed by her room, and in the next 5 pages, the real reason that she doesn't want them to see her room, the real reason she's hiding from them more specifically, has nothing to do with her room, has nothing to do with embarrassment. It goes back to the Bakugo kidnapping incident. So between chapter 98 and 99, the only person that's embarrassed at all is Jirou. And what if that's just her character? What if she's embarrassed? Why is it suggesting multiple times? Why is the text suggesting multiple times that this is an embarrassing event for all the students and it's a big deal, right? When it's clearly not a big deal. And even for Kyoka, even for Jirou, it wasn't that big of a deal. She just showed them her room, they saw it, and then they moved on. It's not a big deal. But if you watch my video on why I think Kyoka is the traitor from chapter 98, this make a lot more sense. But if you haven't, it still makes some sense. Point is, Kyoka is not embarrassed that they're about her room and her lack of femininity or whatever. She's embarrassed that they might see something in her room. They would give her away, give her as a spy away. And again, this is a theory of mine, so don't go, don't freak out and say, "Oh no, she can never be the spy." Because I tried telling some people about this theory, and I got a lot of dissenting opinions, and they weren't argument based; they were emotional based, which is whatever, it's fine. But I don't actually know if Kyoka is the traitor. I think she's the traitor? Honestly, I have no idea. But look at the fact someone's a traitor. It's likely not a teacher, because most of the staff is either exempt, like for example, All Might and the principal and Aizawa. How would they be a traitor? That doesn't make any sense. The rest of the staff, they're random characters. We've only seen them once or twice. The number 2, it was suggested that a student could be a traitor. Also, the fact that the only 2 students who didn't know about the rescue plan for Bakugo were Kyoka and Hagakure. Now, what if Hagakure is a traitor? I think she could also be the traitor, but there's more to it. Kyoka can hear. She can hear through solid wall. She can also use them, referring to her ear jacks, to catch sounds, allowing her to hear across even extremely thick walls. So the thing is, what if a student did give away their location with the pin? Who would be able to do it? Now Shoji could, right? Because he can hear across great distances too, but he can't really hear through walls. Now Hagakure could because she's invisible. That makes sense. But Kyoko's the other student that very easily could do this. And in fact, she would have the easiest time to hear the staff make this decision on where the training ground is going to be, and then use her phone and send out a location. Very, hidden, no one would know, no way to tell, and then of course the attack goes underway. With that being said, I think that it's highly evidenced that Kyoko's a traitor, and the fact that she's embarrassed isn't really supported by the text. It's not really supported by the actions of her other classmates too. And so when I read this chapter the first time I read it, I thought, this doesn't really help out my theory much, although I like this scene with Tsuyu. The next time I read it, I realize that this thing with Tsuyu is actually to distract us. It's to make us think that she's embarrassed. Make us think that this embarrassment, this supposed embarrassment, is a common thing among the students. But in reality, there is no embarrassment. There's only embarrassment among Kyoko, who is the number one suspicious student. And so for those reasons, yeah, I do. The text suggests that she is a traitor. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching out my theory on chapter 99, Boku no Hero. I was really excited for this chapter, and actually I think it delivered, even though it wasn't as explosive as 98, but I was excited for it nonetheless. And I think in the next, I don't think we're going to get anything in chapter 100 about the spy. Maybe, I don't think so, but in the next 10 or 15 chapters, this situation is going to explode. Now, who do you guys think is the spy or is the traitor? Remember, there's 29 possible candidates, plus some others like the cop and the cop's cat friend. So, anyway, guys, tell me who you guys think is the spy in the comments, and I hope you guys all have a really good day. It's your boy, and you've all been coordinated, alright?